How far will the Democrat Attorney General in Pennsylvania, who, by the way, we put on notice again, who said, if all the votes are counted in Pennsylvania, we know Donald Trump loses.
Can I say something about this? I know we got our friend Ric Grenell, our colleague. This is so absurd. This guy's the chief law enforcement officer of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and he's made this announcement. This is the guy I'm going to be fighting in the Supreme Court if we have an argument over vote counts. He already knows that Donald Trump loses if all of the votes are counted, Biden wins. So let me give you the exact, if all votes are added up in Pennsylvania, Trump is going to lose. This is not from some, head of the Democratic National Committee. This is the state attorney general who is going to be litigating on how votes are counted. I look at that, Rick, and I say, this is why Pennsylvania has this reputation.
Look, Josh Shapiro is on the ballot. He's running, right? Yeah. I'm pretty sure that he is going to the voters and asking for another term. I think they should vote him out. Anyone who weaponizes their positions and tries to manipulate their power in order to go after their political enemies in this way should be thrown out of office. This is outrageous. This is America. Let me tell you, I worked at the State Department for 11 years. If I saw this in a foreign country's election, we would call it out and tell these people to get back to governing like a democracy.
Rick, I wanted to talk to you about this. So we're starting to see in some states that track this, like Florida, the votes start coming in today, at least we know by party. And we knew that President Trump was just a little bit behind there in early vote when you combine the in-person voting and mail-in voting. Now we see an 84,000 vote lead as of right now in Republican votes. Now, we don't know if those Republicans definitely voted for Donald Trump. But what I've been preaching to everybody today is that if they want to see President Trump reelected, they have got to get to the polls because he will win because people showed up on Election Day. If they don't show up today, he will not win.
The entire strategy has been the Democrats have told everybody to vote early because they're telling people if you go outside, you'll catch COVID and die. And the Republicans are telling people don't trust the system of mailing, and so vote in person. So today is the red wave day. Today is when you have to go wait in line. I don't care how long the lines are, stay in line. Go now and stay in line until you vote. Don't think, oh, it's just me, one vote doesn't matter, because that happens 500 times and we lose. Yep. So the fact of the matter is, go get in line now and take people with you. Nobody should be voting alone. Make it a social occasion. Take a couple of people, go vote, and make sure that your vote counts.
All right, now, Senator Coons just released this statement, and that we have it on audio.
Yep.
Listen to number 27.
States and counties decide our elections, not candidates. And I know, and Joe knows, that if every ballot is counted and counted fairly, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris will win tonight.
I want to say something about that directly to the people of Pennsylvania, to the Commonwealth's Attorney General. And I know, Andy, you're going to echo what I'm going to say here. It's not that every ballot is counted. Every legal ballot is counted. Illegal ballots aren't counted. Unlawful ballots aren't counted. Ballots on people who are on the rolls are not counted. Ballots that come in after the deadline, because we have deadlines in our country, in our states, don't count. Those are invalid ballots. So it's not that every ballot is counted. You want every lawful ballot counted.
That's absolutely right, Jay. And for the Attorney General of a state, Commonwealth, to not preface that remark by saying legal, legitimate, proper, correct ballots are the ones that are going to be counted is an outrage to say that you are the Attorney General of a state to make that kind of a statement, in my opinion.
Yep.
Rick, I wanted to ask you this, and you're going to be joining us tonight. We've got a special from 9 to 11 p.m. Eastern Time. You're going to be at the White House with President Trump. You're going to be joining us again as our special advisor. So for our Facebook and Periscope audience, for those listening on radio right now, if you go to our Jay Sekulow's Facebook page tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern Time or aclj.org, you can watch this election special live that we're bringing you with people like Ric Grenell, Pam Bondi, Matt Schlapp. Rick, for people who are watching this throughout the day, but especially as results start coming in, I mean, we have states that polls close in Indiana at 6 o'clock Eastern Time, Kentucky at 6, Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, Vermont, Virginia at 7. Where should they be looking first to see if Donald Trump is on the path to victory?
Look, I think you've got to look at the red counties and make sure that they are increased over 2016. And you have to look at the Democratic counties and make sure that we are shortening the gap of how we lost in 2016.
Right.
If we can do that, if we can keep that gap from 2016 where the Democrats won and shorten it, and then increase our lead in the red counties, then we will absolutely win. I'll give you an example in Pennsylvania that I'm watching. I've spent a lot of time in Pennsylvania. I just came on the train this morning from Philly. And what our numbers are in Philly is Republicans need to win 15% of the vote in Philadelphia. Now, that seems like a very small amount, but 15% of the vote in a highly Democratic city is a good, solid win for Republicans because we can make it up in all of the other red counties. So that's what I'm going to be looking at in Philadelphia, in Philadelphia proper. Can Donald Trump get 15% of the vote or more? And then that means a red wave in Pennsylvania.
I mean, think about that. When you talk about turning out to vote, Rick, and not being discouraged to turn out and vote today, if 15% of there's more than 15% of people who live in Philadelphia are Republicans, even though it's a very Democrat city, and we're not even talking about the outlying suburbs and counties. If 15% or more just show up and vote, and that's why each one matters. So you say if 500 of them think I don't matter, you're not going to get. You might get to 13%, but you don't get to 14 or 15. There are enough there. If they're listening right now, they need to know that if they show up, they don't have to wear Trump anything. You're not even allowed to do that in a polling place, but go in and cast your vote, make the difference for the red wave, Rick.
Yeah, that's why when we see, situations where some voting machines in Republican areas aren't working, we get angry because that's how our people are going to vote. And I've already seen on the internet through Twitter a variety of examples. Voting machines not working in Nevada, in Pennsylvania. Why is it always in Republican areas where the voting machines aren't working?
I can tell you why. We know why, Rick, because the bureaucrats set those voting machines up, and they don't tend to love Republicans.
Well, actually, here, let me tell you what's going to happen. Rick, if we're going to have and tell this to our audience too, look, I am looking like a laser beam. I mean, we're looking at all possible. There's going to be a lot of skirmishes in various precincts.
Yes.
But I'm looking at if there is going to be a battle, okay? It may not even be necessary. If it's not necessary, it won't be. But if there's going to be a battle, Pennsylvania looks like the battle. And Pennsylvania is notorious for how they handle these things. But I will tell you, I was with our legal team last night till 1:30 in the morning discussing this and strategizing this out. I know the moment to pull the trigger if we have to. In other words, the president's up when all the votes are counted. And then over the last 3 days, Monday and Tuesday, they received totally in all of Pennsylvania. I'm making the numbers up here, but let's say they received 10,000 mail-in ballots. But on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, they received 85,000. Okay?
Yeah, right.
That's a shenanigan. And that's what we have to be looking out for.
Here, can I just say this, Jay and Jordan? I feel very strongly that people have to be active participants in their democracy. Every great civilization has lasted roughly 250 years. We're one generation away from losing all of our freedoms. You have to get active and fight. And part of that means that when we have these irregularities, we have to go in with a legal team. That legal team is expensive. And I'm just going to say this. I don't even know if I'm allowed to. No one's asked me to do this. But I think that our listeners need to write a little check to ACLJ. They need to recognize that we've got legal people on the ready, right? We are ready to jump in all of the states. I know, Jay, you've already been working your tail off in the lead up to this, watching some of the problem areas, problem states. I've put you in touch with people who needed legal advice in certain states immediately. You jumped on it. I know this is expensive to do, and this is how our democracy works. We have to participate, and so I think a small check from people to help our legal fight is appropriate right now.
Well, really appropriate this month because we're in a matching challenge campaign, which means any amount you donate to the ACLJ, we get a matching gift for. Let me tell you something. In Bush versus Gore, the ACLJ filed a whole series of briefs, and why was that? I will tell you why. It wasn't just which candidate you were for. It was the entire Constitution at risk, and it's the same thing here. this isn't just about Donald Trump. It's really not about Donald Trump. It's about our Constitution.
I can actually tell you, and Rick, I know that tomorrow morning, if it's necessary, the email will be going out saying, hey, we need your help right now because we're going to be filing up at the Supreme Court. This is through the ACLJ to protect constitutional rights of voters. So, Rick, I appreciate that plug because this is the beginning of our Matching Challenge Month. You can double the impact today. And let me tell you something. You make that donation online, that is a resource we can use immediately. Go to aclj.org. Donate today. Rick is going to be joining us tonight. Remember, we're on 9 to at least 11 p.m. Eastern Time, going through some of the early states, the votes. And last time around, 4 years ago, we knew who the president was going to be by the end of that 2 hours. Maybe that's different this year. Maybe it's not. But Rick will be joining us as well from the White House. Great to talk to you, Rick. We'll be right back.